Welcome back to Stitch Files with Barudan America. We're back in our beautiful LA studio.
Lower Archdale.
That's right.
Not Los Angeles.
No.
It's nicer than Los Angeles.
I'm your co-host, Brandon.
I'm Sarah.
Sarah.
And I'm Bob.
Did you have to tell her her name?
No.
Okay.
It helps.
She paused there for a minute.
I don't know which.
I thought I'd let you go first if you wanted to.
No, we can't do that. That messes up the chi.
You messed up the chi by bringing this
already
office chair in here.
A little messed up.
No, I like my chair. I'm so comfy. I mean,
Okay.
if I doze off, you guys just poke me in the ribs because this is such a comfortable chair, even though the pleather is peeling off of it.
Yeah.
You
Every
guys have
time I
noticed that or
vacuum
not?
the office, there's shards of pleather.
Everywhere.
It's like you sharded pleather.
Have you noticed that?
No,
I carry it through you haven't seen it?
I don't vacuum.
Oh, well, is it because you
because I
don't
do.
vacuum, or
No, I don't.
she says
Just
it's
on
not? It's
principle.
not on her job description.
Yeah.
Vacuuming.
It's Brandon. So.
That's my.
Yeah, he does it better than anybody.
It
I
really
do good.
does.
I do carpet. I come in on the weekend, sprinkle a carpet cleaner, and
Go
yeah,
above and beyond.
try to get that
Barry.
pay raise, son.
Yeah. Well, you're working toward it. You probably won't get it, but
Yeah,
you know, set your sights
I
high,
expect
buddy.
nothing.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, thanks for joining us again. We've got a very special guest, Mr. Robert Elrod, former Barudan employee and sales rep for Florida. And now he owns ESM Promo, which is a business in Orlando. So we talked to Vicky. She's a small business owner. So we're transitioning into a mid-sized business. And we felt like Robert will be a good representation of that. So we'll bring him on the line. Robert Elrod, are you there, sir?
Yes, sir, I am.
He's also known as the
AKA Chicken Man. Okay.
Chicken Man. We'll tell that story. We'll tell that story. In a minute.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm learning that like you have a whole lot of impersonations you
Yeah.
can do.
Yeah.
That's how I've gotten through life, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just one impersonation at a time, you know.
So,
I'll do an impersonation of Stoney here shortly.
I do one every
Will
day.
Can you leave the bad ones? My mom might be listening.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
We do have to keep this PG. I can do an
PG.
impersonation of him too, but all the words start with F.
Friendly,
Well,
frivolous,
fantastic.
fearless.
Yeah.
Feel
No. None of those.
lack of follicles.
Yeah,
That
especially on
hurts.
top
That
of his
hurts.
head.
That hurts.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm with you, man. I'm allowed to.
Hey, that's true. You don't have much hair either.
No, man. You know, it's
Have you done
I'm in the
that?
embroidery industry.
That's true. I had hair when I started. Do you remember
Yeah.
when you had hair?
I do.
Oh, you've been
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember.
I've been around a long time.
Well, I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Robert, give us just a brief introduction. Yeah, talk about your history with embroidery and working for
Okay.
Barudan, things you love and hate about Robert Stone.
And when you're done, wake us up.
Like well, yeah, this is a book. It actually started, you know, God, I can't believe I'm going to say this, that I graduated high school in 1993. And that actually started, that was the year I started my, we'll say, screen printing and embroidery career. But, you know, right out of high school, I had a good friend that went to church with, and he said, hey, man, we've got this thing. We print T-shirts. And I'm like, oh, that sounds like an awesome thing to do. And he stuck me behind a screen print dryer. So I don't know what kind of friend he was, but
Really?
it was hot. But anyways, no, so I did that. I worked in the screen print side for a couple of years and in the office, so forth, but they end up buying an embroidery machine, and it happened to be a 1993 Barudan 900 Beat 900 906 YS. So for you old embroidery guys, you'll know what that is.
It's a real cat machine.
But yeah, buddy, that thing could flat sew some caps as long as you had a 1x1 sewing field and a single needle, single color. One color, you're in good shape. You stay in between three colors. But yeah, so that's how I kind of got started into it, and end up being a production manager for that company. And they're still going, really great company, and kind of had a knack for fixing things or tearing things apart. I don't know if I could put them back together, but I could at least tear them apart. But no, good friend of mine, Sean Roeder, which a lot of people in the industry will know from the screen print side. hired me on in 90, I think it was 97, right when the ZN came out. Actually, let me back up, because you had mentioned Vicky Dyer, and when we were talking earlier, I actually went to a bobbin show, and I know y'all have talked about those in the past on the podcast, but for you that remember bobbin show, those were huge shows. And I walked up to a Barudan booth and ran into this nice young fellow with hair named Bob Stone, and this nice young lady. Yes, they have. And a nice young lady named Vicky Dyer, who was on your podcast, I think, a month or so ago. And they were running trade shows, and just, hey, listen, if you ever need help at a trade show, I'd love to help out. And anyways, fast forward back to when Sean and I were doing technical work on screen printing and embroidery equipment. Vicky and Bob had called me and said, hey, we need some help at a trade show. And so we had established a relationship there. And over the years, I would help them at a trade show, and the opportunity came up that they needed a sales rep in the state of Florida at the time. And so Sean and I were a distributor for Barudan for quite a few years. And then probably somewhere midstream there in the, I have to relate it to what Automat was out at the time, is how I kind of relate my life. So let's see, that was the N series. So, but that part of life, I started selling directly for Barudan. I think we were on the D series at that point. So somewhere in the early 2000s, probably 2004, 2005, started selling directly for Barudan, and did Georgia for a little while and all of Florida. And so basically did that up until here about a year and a half ago. And, when things had kind of changed back in the mid 2000s, when the economy was struggling a little bit, I had started a little side business. I kind of related all embroidery sales reps to like a fireman. You got your main job, which was back then, you sold embroidery equipment, but then you had your weekend job. So that was, I did tech work and sold promos and just did little odds and ends just to some friends and that kind of thing. Well, decided to revamp the company and kind of restart it back up a couple of years ago. And here we are today, and ESM promo is what it is today, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so that's about it now. I'm, well, you need to know, I'm 5'8", don't have much hair. I like chicken.
On the beach.
Yeah. Long walks on the beach and eat a lot of chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us the Chicken Man story.
So, the way, trade shows get, people think, oh man, that'd be so awesome. Travel around, do all these trade shows. It is a lot of fun. It's also a ton of work. People that, if you've never done a trade show, they are just a lot of work. And I've always, God bless Sarah and Stoney and all the, past folks that ran around all the trade shows and setting up there. That's a lot of work. And when you had a lot of big machines, you had to pass the time. So we joked a lot. And a lot of my life stories have come out of usually setting up and tearing down trade shows. But so this one in particular, a good friend of ours and also a sales rep for many, many years, who has now passed on, but our good friend Steve Furman, we were all sitting around the booth and again, talking about chicken. I do like the main food groups: chicken, steak, potatoes, macaroni and cheese, and chocolate milk. Yeah, that's about it. So my palate is not very formed. It's that's pretty much the extent of it. Maybe an occasional McDonald's hamburger or something. If I really want to get wild and crazy.
Vegetables in your diet, right?
Well, I mean, I eat macaroni and cheese. Yeah, isn't that a vegetable? I mean, it's got cheese. Is cheese a vegetable? So
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I do. I like fried okra. Is that considered a vegetable?
Absolutely.
So. So, but anyway, so we were sitting around trying to figure out where to eat, and they were super about it. I mean, they always say, "Hey, Elrod, is there anywhere that you would like to go?" And I said, "Hey, man, anywhere it's got some chicken." And Steve Furman looks over, God rest him, looks over at Stoney. He says, "You know what? I think I'll get me some chicken. And and somehow, even though he said it, it stuck with me.
Yeah.
So
No, it just
so that's kind of,
it just seems to me like all the dinners that we always did. You and I have been out a lot over the years, a lot of dinners.
yeah.
And
Oh,
just,
yeah.
You always get chicken fingers. Always.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys would go and hey, one of the nice things and perks about being, working for a good company and, getting treated to nice dinners, we'd always go to a real nice dinner at least once during a trade show or something. And, just Stoney to kind of, show an appreciation to his sales reps that were at the show and staff. And so, it was either a choice of Wendy's or Arby's or, McDonald's. I got another story about Stoney with some Arby's as well, if you want me to tell that one later. But and that's a good on-air one too. But anyways, yeah, but they would. We'd always go to. I mean, man, these really nice restaurants, and I couldn't read the menu. I mean, like some kind of. I remember one time it was like this arugula salad. I'm like, man, what the heck is arugula?
What was it you said? What's this? You called it something. I can't remember what it was. I can't remember. You had a name for the salad that they brought to us. We went to a place in Orlando on International Drive. It used to be called the Butcher. Was it the Butcher Block?
Yeah, I think so.
Something like that. Remember, whether you could cook your steak, or they would cook it for you.
Yeah, we could. Yeah,
that was the
pick
place
it out.
we went to. I mean, it's really expensive.
Yeah.
And of course, all these fancy salads and all this stuff.
Like an arugula.
Yeah.
He didn't know what kind of lettuce it was. It looked like somebody just picked it off the side of the road and put salad dressing on it.
I don't think Roundup would kill that dress or kill that leaf. Man, I'm telling you. So my palate still has not accepted arugula.
Yeah.
No, it has not evolved to arugula. Man, it just doesn't do it. So, but so needless to say, this is probably the only podcast I'll ever do to talk about food. I don't think Guy Fieri or anybody's going to be calling me to talk about food. Although he does own a chicken place. He does own chickens. He's got the chicken guy.
Yeah. You're the chicken man. He's the chicken guy.
Chicken man at the chicken guy.
All right. So, what would you say some of your challenges or what drove your decision to go from, just having the side hustle to moving into a mid-sized business?
Well, so I did start like most of my Barudan clients. You start up a business. You obviously start with a single head. I was fortunate enough to obviously being in the industry was able to access a 6-head. So I started out with 1 6 and a single, and obviously, as we all know, that's a great size small business to really. I mean, you can pump out a lot with that 6-head and the single. And, we were able to fulfill our orders and, but we were always kind of running into the night and so forth. And, so we just kept having that challenge of our wives saying, hey, when are you coming home? So that kind of sparked the decision to, hey, we need to grow a little bit if we want to go home at night, because you can only run so fast as the machine's going to run, as we all know. Yeah. And, so we added another 6-head. So that brought us up to the 13-head mark, which, and nowadays I guess is, smaller, but also to mid-size nowadays. But ran that for about 2.5, 3 years. It was just me and one other person. We were able to keep up with everything and we're able to schedule it. But some of the biggest challenges that we ran into and, was again, just not being able to keep up. But then, in this day and age was finding people to work, that we could get to work for us that were qualified to do embroidery that wanted to do embroidery. I mean, you got to find somebody that really has a passion for it. Yeah. And of course the biggest challenge is with once you start getting into a more mid-size is cash flow. Okay. Well, hey, I got to buy. Now I don't have to buy just 1 box of bobbins a month. Now I'm buying, I went from buying 1 or 2 boxes a month to now, of course, with the amount of heads I got now, we're buying a case at a time. We're buying, 12 to 20 boxes at a time. It gets expensive. So you really got to allocate your expenses correctly. And, and again, the challenges a lot of times we find is, okay, do we add a second shift or do we add more machines? That's kind of, once you're to capacity, I mean, that's really one of your biggest challenges, I think, with embroiderers, or you start running into, it's going to take 3 weeks to get your job done, 4 weeks. And once you get to that 3 and 4 week mark, it's really not a good thing when you're telling customers it's going to be 4 weeks to get your stuff done. Right. And I think that's, so we did, decide to add some more machines, and it helped. But again, I think as we did that, just some more challenges came through. So, but
yes, how many heads you got it now?
So as of actually this week, so we actually just, taking on some, when we kind of moved into more contract work here in the last year, we actually purchased another business, and we had a total of 65 heads, but a couple of those were just not the right color. We just didn't like the color palette. So they had kind of an off color that didn't match the blue of our other machines. So we actually just got rid of, yes, sir. So we just got rid of 7 heads. So that we're at 56 right now.
Okay.
So yeah. So quite a few heads. We've got everything. It ranges from of course they're all Baird and they're all blue now, but they're range from D series machines all the way up to K series. Yeah. So
yeah, good for you, man. It's good to see that you've expanded.
Yeah.
And grown like you have. I mean, I've known you a long time, and you've always had a single head or something sitting around.
Oh yeah, yeah.
These two,
I got one in my garage right now.
Two wiseacres here are giving me a hard way to go.
We do have a game that anytime he says, "I've been doing this a long time," or references,
I've known him a long time.
It doesn't matter.
We know
when it is.
I've known you a long time.
Shots. Anytime about it said, take a shot.
No, you got to admit, I don't do it as much as I did because I'm making a conscious effort not to.
Right.
Because
I love making you self-conscious.
It's not hard.
No.
That's what a son should do, Brandon. That's good.
Yeah. I'm very good at it. He kind of walks around sometimes with an ego, and I chop it straight down.
You chop it right in half.
You can ask Jamie. You can ask Sarah.
I've got a huge ego. That's true. It's huge.
No. You're great.
You're a great father.
Yeah. So glad you're my dad.
No.
Yeah.
Hey, you are fortunate to have him as a dad.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about that. I do. I thank God every day. And then sometimes I curse the Lord and say, why did you do this to me?
Why, Lord? Why?
Yeah. Sarah, you want to fire a question at old Robert Elrod?
Yeah. I was wondering how COVID has affected your business, and is it still?
COVID. Yeah, it did actually. Well, down over here where we're at, what you talking about? It's some kind of plant that grows in the water.
Yeah, Florida.
No, sir. So, and in all honesty, all things aside, I mean, I'm fortunate that we were not 100% shut down, and honestly, it did save my business. If we would have shut down 100%, I wouldn't have made it. Unfortunately, I mean, I know there's a lot of people that really didn't make it through this. But I think that a lot of companies out there, screen print and embroidery, our industry, we're really driven by the school market and corporate, corporate America. And, when those all halted and just, there was no sports, there was no nothing, obviously nobody wasn't going to buy apparel. And so that really did change the core of our business. I mean, we went at that time, I had, we just had the 2 6s and the single at that time. And, I mean, they sat still for quite a long time. They didn't get turned on for weeks at a time unless I was helping somebody out to sew a mask or something. I mean, honestly, that was really the only time they got turned on. So, we brainstormed a little bit. We did create more of an online presence, started doing some online stores, and for some of our clients, and that did kind of help sustain us through it. And again, at that time, I mean, I would go in and just run the stuff myself, and just did all the work. But one of the things that I did find out, and through COVID and through a lot of just kind of asking people about how they do their work and so forth, was, kind of looking for contractors and so forth. So that, I just kind of took on anything I could, stuff I would usually said no to, I did. Yeah. I was like, you want what? You want how many stitches? And you want it where? I'll figure it out. So I mean, it was just, but we made it, and we're very blessed and thankful that we were able to, and nobody ever went without a paycheck, and we made it through it. So
well, I think that being adaptable and taking on stuff you wouldn't normally, I mean, it's kind of like survival mode, right? Like we got
absolutely,
got to keep these things running.
How competitive is the contract market down there?
Hold on just a second. Sorry, the advantages to working at home is I lost my technology is great when it works.
Yeah.
Sorry, the advantages of working home. My dog just came to the door and started crying. So he's like, "What are you doing? I want on this podcast. Is it about her chicken?" That's what he heard. He heard chicken. Little stinker. Yeah. He's a mess. Anyway, so I'm sorry. Your question was what? You're gonna have to tell me again, because I forgot. So.
How competitive the promotional market is?
Yeah,
down there
competitive. Man, I tell you, it's very competitive.
Yeah.
We especially in the contract market. I mean, it's just nickel and dime.
Yep.
And I think it's just a territorial thing. You go to the north part of Florida, and it's not that bad. It's not as, I used to have customers in Gainesville, and they say, "You charge what?" I'm like, "Well, that's what I have to charge to get the business." And, they're like, "Man, I charge, and it'd be 3 or 4 times the amount." So yeah, just the general area I happen to be in, it is very competitive.
Yeah, I hear that too all the time. People, getting kind of undercut, undersold, and, stuff away from people.
Absolutely. So it's very competitive. So, in fact, on the street that I am on, that our main shop is on, there is 3, 4, actually on my UPS driver's route, I'll put it that way, there's 5 embroidery companies that have more than 12 heads.
Mm-hmm.
So
wow,
it's kind of just, we call it embroidery row, but it wasn't on purpose. It just happened that way. But anyways, very competitive.
Yeah.
But you don't lack for work, do you? I mean, you
absolutely not. Yeah. We're so slammed right now. My gosh, we're it's crazy. In fact, this week we've just been trying to figure out how we're going to get it all done. So, fortunately, when we got into the contract work, and I'll back up a little bit, this kind of talks about how I kind of expanded the business, especially in this last year, was because of the contract. I kind of did a market study. I started asking people, I'm like, what are your needs? And that's even people that had single heads to people that had 6 heads to people that had nothing. And they're like, "Hey, we need somebody we can call. We know the quality is going to be there, but we also know that it's going to get done when you say it's going to get done." And, because right now, I mean, you're liable to not get all your goods until the day before event date. And you got to have the head capacity to knock, 500 piece job or, even a 100 piece job to knock it out quick enough. So that was kind of one of the reasons we expanded and purchased the other company, to kind of be able to handle that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So.
And do you do much advertising, or do you get a lot of?
I do none.
Word of
it's
mouth,
none. Yeah. It's word of mouth. And I am fortunate, just because I was in the industry, been in this industry so long, my cell phone number hasn't changed in 25 years, I think, or something, or maybe longer, however long cell phones have been out. So, I mean, I still get calls. I had a call from a guy. This is funny. I had a call from a customer that hasn't owned a machine. Honestly, I didn't even know he was, I don't want to say he was, I thought he wasn't even around anymore. I mean,
you thought he was dead.
I thought he was dead. I mean, okay. I doubt he has I doubt he listens. I don't know. He may listen to the podcast. He's maybe getting back into it. But anyways, he called me. I'm like, how the heck? I was like, well, my number hadn't changed. And he was looking for somebody. Hey man, I have a friend of mine that needs this done. I thought of you. Hey, can you get this done for me? Yeah, sure. I'll do it. So just having the fortunate, career of being around embroidery, it has helped me tremendously. I mean, it really has. So
what's the smallest job? What's the smallest job you'll do?
We'll do one piece. That's why we have the single head.
Small. Yeah.
Yeah.
Robert, would you
but I mean, we'll do half a logo for half the price. It's buy one, get one free at ESM promo just this week only. You get half the design, you get the other half.
See, you should be doing commercials.
Yeah, you should. You've got the voice for it.
Yeah, you missed your calling.
Well, so.
Want to fire the next? Yeah. I got lost. I'm sorry.
Do you have any tips for someone thinking about making the move to expand their business? What advice would you like to share? What do you got?
Don't do it. No, no, obviously, don't do it in Orlando or anywhere in Florida. I will find you. No, it's honestly, it's like anything, you make a plan. Sometimes, you say, what's the movie with the corn? Build it and they will come.
Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams. Field of Dreams. I got the baseball reference in there.
Did you say Children of the Corn?
It's scary. That's what I'm talking about. Don't get into it. It's scary. Run for your life. It's Children of the Corn in a cornfield. No, no, honestly, I mean, I just say make a plan. Plan. One of the biggest things that we do is we really look at, okay, a lot of customers, if you have the area where you can get employees that, you can sustainably work at night. I mean, there's nothing better is to run that first shift and then you have a second shift. I mean, that is just, the equipment can handle it. It's just, if you can get the staff to do it. But that's the number one thing I tell people is like, listen, use your equipment to its ability. One of the number one things that we do is maintenance our equipment. I mean, every day our equipment is maintenance. And it's, like John said back a couple of months ago, you keep those machines oiled and they're going to run I hate to say run forever. As a sales rep, I used to hate that. And they're like, God, these things just keep running. Why won't it die, man? But, you keep them maintenance, keep them oiled, they run. And so, but adding that second shift, and then, okay, hey, once we get to this capacity again, the number one thing I think is, these embroiderers talk, especially now with all these Facebook forums and everything else. People talk. Oh, so you can ruin your name pretty quick as soon as you miss a couple events and you start missing stuff. So I think, hey, make a plan and say, okay, I'm never going to let myself try in a month, 2 month period of time. I'm not going to let myself get anywhere more than 4 weeks behind or 3 weeks behind. If that consistently happens, okay, I've got to I gotta have a change. And I find a lot of times too and we're the same way is, allocate, make a plan and really help somebody establish a good career. I mean, I'm a big advocate of Mike Rowe. He really, he's the dirty jobs guy and he's big on, talking about about if you should or shouldn't go to college. But, some people just don't go to college. And you know what? Embroidery is a great there's a lot of embroidery production managers out there, managers that make great livings.
Yeah.
Hire somebody that really wants to make a career with you. And I think that can be a huge, one of the things I did that honestly, I truly believe I wouldn't be where I am today is, I hired a young man, from Michigan, and his name happens to be Rob.
Does he like chicken? Does he like chicken?
You know what? Chick-fil-A is his favorite place.
That's not
so.
Chicken.
Yeah, he's
we'll talk about that later. I don't put Chick-fil-A in the same category, but go ahead.
You don't put it in the same category?
No,
okay.
Go ahead.
But I made the commitment to say, okay, hey, I'm gonna take a big leap, hire somebody that can really help me get to the next level. Find strengths, find your weaknesses and find somebody that has those as their strengths.
Yeah.
That'll really help. And, like with Rob, he's I say a computer genius. He's great with computers. He's the one that was able to put us into the so-called digital age. I can text and I can look up and down TikTok or Facebook, but that's about it. I don't know how to write code. I don't know how to do any of that stuff.
Next time we're together, I'll give you a few tips on writing code.
You can give me some tips, man. That would be awesome.
Yeah, it's not hard.
Is he the guy who was there when I came down there for that demo?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah. He's my right hand guy, man. He's just he really is. He's a process guy, and he's just made such a difference in the company. So, and he's a part owner. He's now has a piece of the company. So. It's a career for him. So, but I think that's important. Just put the right people in place, get a plan, and, go from there.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's a good industry, finding somebody that you can sort of guide and teach and help them grow in the industry. And I hear it all the time. People can't find folks that want to be an operator, and it's a struggle.
It's hard.
Yeah,
it really is. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's a couple folks down in Orlando, like, if you know anybody, I'm like, yeah, you and everybody else. It's hard, man.
Yeah. We just hired somebody and we just said, hey, listen, we're just going to take somebody that's just as green. They basically knew what embroidery was. They didn't know anything about it. And we just trained them from the ground up. I'm like, well, I guess I could use my old skill set to work. And, I did train people that never owned equipment before. So I was like, well, let's just start from scratch. And, that operator is now running 2 8-heads. So
awesome.
she's doing great. Yeah.
Good.
So.
Hey, are you able to get product? How's that looking?
That's a whole nother podcast.
Oh,
no, it's, of course, again, I'm not buying a ton of product like a lot of my customers are, but what I'm seeing coming in, the Sanmars, Alpha Broders, SNSs, that have all even, a lot of them are combining forces. They're starting to get more and more stock. It seems like you can get a size medium and a large, but you can't get a small or a 2X, so it's just kind of coming in waves of different sizes. But, it seems like we're starting to see the product side, the apparel side of it come back. Now, the scary side of it is the actual stuff that we need to embroider, the backing and the bobbins. We're seeing a little bit of a scare there. We're trying to stock up as much as we can when we can. So, like I said earlier,
what about thread? Do you have any issues getting thread?
We are, but with what we tried to do is we try to kind of if we can't get it in polyester, we look at the rayon. Most of our clients are pretty good about, hey, listen, just long as it's red, long as it's royal blue. If it's a little shade off, especially if it's just a new one-time order, it's for an event, this is going to be the one, it's fine. But we're seeing some of the more off colors, I would say, we're having trouble getting. When you got 50 something heads and you run out of black, you're in bad shape.
Oh yeah.
So it's definitely a little nerve wracking. So
When do you see this ending? When do you see? What's your opinion on that? When you think things will get better? I almost got choked on my coffee.
you choke on a chicken bone.
There's two holes.
Mm-hmm.
One for breathing.
Yeah.
I'll let you know this.
You don't. Yeah.
You didn't know.
Yeah.
One for breathing.
Please tell me.
This is an anatomy podcast.
Yes, and one for that's where your food and your drinks.
Yeah, you don't want to mix the two.
And it went and didn't read the sign which way it's supposed to go. So I
zigged when it should have zagged. Yeah.
I'll send you a full diagram.
Thank you. I could draw one. Let me draw you a picture.
No, you could doodle enough on this show. I feel like I'm babysitting.
When do you think all this is going to end?
Man, I've got opinions on it, but honestly, I don't think anybody knows. I tell you, some of the stuff I've seen too is I think they're having to produce this stuff so fast. The quality's not there. And I don't care what brand, and I'm not, and it doesn't matter if it's thread or bobbins or shirts or backing. I mean, it's just, they're doing their best with what they have. And, same thing, trying to get employees to run. I've talked to Sandmark quite a bit. I mean, bless their heart, they're having trouble getting people up there that can, to pull, it's tough. And, same thing with manufacturers. They're doing the best they can. I don't care if you got to buy, what product it is. I mean, it's really, I was talking to one of my clients and who's actually become a close friend, but he's got a plumbing business. He's like, man, I'll sit on a job for couple weeks because I can't get the supplies I need to finish out a house or finish out a business, so it's not just embroidery industry for sure. And who knows when it's going to end? I don't know.
I thought you had some kind of
No, I haven't had any world premonition of that yet.
Like a crystal ball.
Lord hadn't. Something. Yeah, I haven't. Yeah, I haven't been laid on me yet.
The Lord ain't
the knowledge
for you. Robert,
hey,
give us
a rundown of your day for you. You get all these heads, you got all this work coming in.
You
come into the office in the morning. Well, you do come into the office, right? Or do you stay home?
I do, yes. No, I do.
And then when do you swim in your money? Your money. Full of money.
well, if you can swim in a couple dollar bills, heck yeah, man. Nickels and dimes, buddy. You can change them $3 into a lot of pennies. That's 300 pennies to roll around in. No, typical day, man, you got to start out with a good, healthy breakfast. I usually get me a good chicken biscuit and some chocolate milk.
I don't think that's a joke.
No, it's not a joke.
I think it's not just on the joke.
It really isn't. Well, I mix it up. We got Wawa down here, man. And, buddy, I go get me a good Wawa sandwich.
I do love a Wawa.
No, buddy, I do too, man. And we got two. That's one of the reasons I put the shop where it is. So I've got, buddy, I can get to Chick-fil-A, even though you said it's not, I can get to Zaxby's.
Say that word.
I can. Now, I'm going to put a plug in here for one of my clients, but we've got a really good chicken. How in the heck did we get off on this far? And we're talking about schedule, and it goes back to eating chicken.
That's what happens.
So, yeah. Anyways, we got a lot of good places to eat. But no, I start out the morning. Generally we'll get there. Rob or I'll get there. Depending on the day, we try to get there at 5 or 6 in the morning and get everything set. But usually the night before, one of the things I can say is, kind of talking about technology a little bit. For years you had, chalkboards and, we, actually what we really do. Yeah. Whiteboard. Yeah. Well, you know what we do? You remember when you played football as a little kid, you'd huddle around, you take your hand and you cup it and go, all right, Jimmy, you go this way. And Bobby, you go this way. And that's what we do. We huddle around. All right, you're going to go to this machine. You're going to sew this. You go to that machine. You're going to sew this. No, honestly, we if you only knew. No, everything is scheduled. We have programs in place, us personally, we use Printavo, but there's great companies out there like Shopworks and many others, and everything's scheduled. So we try to stay a couple days ahead of the due date so that if there is an issue, we've got time to repair it. But the first thing that our crew does is they come in, they blow the machines out, and they oil them. That is the first thing that's done every morning.
That's smart.
And it has to, and then we've got a particular set of job sets that clients that we have stuff every day that we run for, whether it be a web store or whatever the client is that has to be ran every day. That gets knocked out, then it moves into some of the different bulk jobs and so forth. But each machine's got its own set of jobs every day. So we come in and they run solid till about 3 or 4 o'clock till UPS comes and everything's done. We do use clipper and trimmers. I used to walk into shops and I'd see all these machines not trimming. I'm like, why are you not trimming? Oh, that wastes time. Man, let your machines do the trimming. I mean, that's what they're built to do. And but we let the machines do as much as possible, but then it goes to clipping and trimming, and they take care of boxing it and getting it ready to go out the door. And at the end of the day, it's just kind of clean the shop time, make sure threads put away, that kind of stuff. So, just kind of overseeing that. And, I'm usually out talking to the clients and, filling in. I run a machine. I'm going to run a machine tonight, actually. So I'm not scared to get out and still run it. I'm going to run 2 8s tonight. So, got to get a job done.
Send us a picture of that, because we don't believe it.
Sure, I will. Well, I will say, hey, make sure you leave the full backs for me so I can watch TV while I run the machine.
I knew there was a catch to it. Hey,
I can eat mine.
Where are you getting your digitizing from? Are you guys doing it in-house? Are you farming it
So
out?
we have we're farming it out. We have the capability. We use, or obviously Wilcom.
Mm-hmm.
We were trained by one of the best, Mr. James Timmons. And
never heard of him.
You never heard of him? Oh man, he's just the nicest, loud guy you ever heard, man. He's just so hopefully people have heard the podcast by now of James, but we do digitize in house if it's something simple, but 99% of the time it's outsourcing. We've got 2 or 3 companies that we've partnered up with that we feel do a good job, and they don't pack too many stitches in it, but we can get good runtime. And, the goal at the end of the day is to make sure the machines run efficient. So that's what we do there. So.
Yeah. So how many employees do you have now? Machine operators.
So machine operators.
What we're interested in. We don't care about that screen stuff.
Yeah. Just machine operators. That's smoke and mirrors.
That stuff washes off when you put it in the washing machine.
That's right. You got that. That's what I tell people. You want something that's going to stick around for all your life. You want embroidery.
Exactly.
You want it ran on a Barudan.
There you go. I like the way you're thinking.
Let's see. 1, 2. So we have 5 operators.
Wow.
So, yeah. So we primarily 1 operator per 2 6s or 2 8s. So we've got, and then we have 1 that runs, that will bounce in between depending. So they'll run the singles and run the, kind of help pull, and, they'll run in between machines and help pull. If a job's got like under 4,000 stitches, 3,000 stitches.
Uh-oh. All right, we're back.
And we're back.
Let's talk about pricing a little bit.
Yeah. So we look at. Yeah. Go ahead, Stoney. Sorry.
No, I just want to say, explain to the listeners how you come to your price breaks. How many pieces before you get a break? Hundreds, thousands, millions, whatever.
Yeah, sure. 1 million pieces.
Dr. Evil.
Dr. Evil. We look at it per machine. So, so we say, hey, okay, well, per 6 head or per 8 head, this machine should be producing this per hour. Obviously, that's changed a lot with the cost of materials going up, cost of labor going through the roof. That's obviously had to change quite a bit, but we do look at that. And I think that's important for people to look at your overhead, and then base it off of that. What you want to make per hour per machine. And, so that's how we've kind of taken it and then broke it down into, okay, if you just need one piece, it's going to cost this much. But obviously, you need 12 pieces, this much. And I think almost everybody in the industry breaks it down by some type of dozens. 12 to 24, 36 to 72, or and then from there, and then it seems like everybody's price sheet I've ever seen, you get to 1,000, they're like, just ask me. Yeah. There's always that. Oh, you want 1,000 pieces? Let me work on that. So there's always that kind of.
Are you pretty good at figuring out, your cost per 1,000 stitches, or do you even go that route at all?
No, we do. You
have to know what your costs are.
You do.
And
obviously,
you mentioned something that I've been talking about for years. I always, when somebody asks me, both of you guys can kiss it. When somebody asks me about how to price and all this, I always tell them, if it's a single head, you need to be making this much an hour. That's the way you think of it, because people get so hung up on how many pieces and how many they're going to make per piece, and I mean that's okay. But the per hour, you're probably only the second person ever to say that, and you probably heard that from me. Yeah, that's probably why you're so smart.
Maybe
working.
I learned from the Jedi Master.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well,
but the thing per hour to me is extremely important.
Yeah. I mean, because it comes down to that. I mean, if you're not, if you're only, I've heard these. I used to, again, when I was in Brandon's shoes, and I'm sure Brandon's already had this, you come across people and they're like, I'm just not making any money. Well, how much are you charging? Well, I'm charging for $2 for embroidery. Well, how many heads you got? Well, I got one. So you're making $8 an hour. Man, I think you picked the wrong thing. Yeah. So you really have to look at that. I mean, that's just, to me, and honestly, I think that's what's kind of hurt our industry a little bit, to be honest with you. Just to kind of get on my high horse a little bit is, there's, when you could go get an embroidery machine for, put it in a grocery bag and walk out, as our friend Murph used to say, you could, it kind of, people were doing, they didn't have any cost in it. They didn't have any overhead, and it really kind of hurt the industry, I think, a little bit. And it's come back quite a bit. But again, all that being said, at the end of the day, it's per hour. What do you need to make per hour? And if you've got, and that's what you look at. Okay, well, I've got this number of employees. I got to pay for the lights, the machine payments, and this and this and this. Well, especially if you're a contract shop, if you're not putting out so much per hour, well, man, you're just burning thread. But that's how we break it down. So,
do you think that contract embroidery is coming back?
I do. We are seeing more and more. Actually, some of my largest jobs that I have right now, and I'm talking large, I've got some jobs in house that are over 5,000 pieces right now, that they would have sent overseas, and they're like, "Hey, we're not trusting it for whatever reason, just because." It's got to be back. Yeah. We're seeing a lot of what I call promotional product type stuff. We just got 3 pallets of bags today, and I'm like, man, why aren't these being done at so and so? And it's like they can't get it done, or B, the customer's just not. They're a little nervous about getting it back in time. So we're seeing a lot of that, because I remember, man, when I first started, and
what was that?
It only applies to you.
What?
Oh, it applies to me. Okay.
Yeah.
No, let me add something to this. I know what you're going to say. When I first started, you know this too, Robert, it was all contract embroidery pretty much.
It was. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, it was all big machines, and everybody was fighting for, to outbid somebody by 2 or 3 cents to get the job.
Yeah.
But go ahead. You go ahead and elaborate on that.
Okay. Well, I was just going to say, we had
I said it, but you can go ahead and make up
Okay.
something.
Well, I was just going to say, we had the Liberty embroideries, the big shops that had, 500, 600, 700 heads.
Yeah.
And, obviously we saw that go away, and we're starting to see a lot of that come back. Now, with that coming back, because of the quality of the machine and the productivity of the machine, the higher productivity, we're not seeing as many heads, but I truly believe, what I tell people all the time, where you saw a shop that had 100 heads, well, you can do that with 50 heads now, 56 heads. I mean,
exactly.
Man, these things run. I mean, we don't run our machine. This is me personally, just because I'm a fanatic about the equipment. We don't run over 850 stitches a minute, because I truly believe it is. And it's, people say, why don't you crank them up to 1,000? Yeah, it can do it. It'll do it all day long, but for me personally, that's just what we run them at. And, we're still, when I compare it to machines, from the old, even the in-series machines that were running, you could crank them, and if you could stand the noise at 650, 700 stitches a minute, even 750, just because of the way these pantographs handle longer stitches and everything else, you're getting faster embroidery with these compact machines. So yes, to answer the long question, it's coming back. Absolutely.
Yeah. I kind of see that too. I mean, we're starting to, probably last year and into this year, we are selling more 12 and 15 heads than
Isn't that crazy?
I can remember. I mean, it's especially 15s. We can't keep any in stock right now, but we got a list of people waiting on 15 head machines that, we went from selling, I don't know, maybe 25 or 30 a year, which was a lot in a year, to, 10 or 12 a month. It's just nuts.
Isn't that crazy? Well, and, in my era, I didn't sell a ton of them, but I had, several companies that we sold several to. And man, I tell you what, they are flat, awesome machines. I mean, I had one guy said, man, I'll put this 12 up to anything I had. He said he loved that machine. His operators loved it. It ran good. I mean, it runs just as good as the others, but it's just, you talk about some high producing machines. But I still think that, once again, even as big as those monsters are, I mean, you can still have a lot smaller facility with, I think, half to 3/4 of the heads and run like some of these mega facilities did for years, and run a lot of stuff.
Well,
so
I would buy 2 6s over 112. That's me. You just got, you got a lot more.
Well, and that's what, we've got 4 6s and 4 8s that are our main machines.
The 8s killed the 12s.
Yeah.
So, there's really no reason to buy a 12. I'm probably killing myself here, but it's really true. I mean, if you're going to buy a big multi-head, buy 15. Because when you look at the cost per head, and that goes down to what you were talking about, it goes back to what you were talking about per hour, you're going to make more per hour on the 15 than you are on the 12, even though it costs more.
Yeah. Well, that kind of reminds me, wasn't there a song about that or something like that? The compact 8 heads kill the big machines. The compact 8s kill the big 12 head machines. Sorry, I don't know. That's how my brain works. I'm sorry.
When did you start drinking?
Was that the video radio star?
That was it. That was what I was trying to do.
Okay.
I have my guitar right here. I should have grabbed my guitar, but
that's okay.
It was too far. I would have put it to I would have probably been a little better key. I probably would have put it in G or something. I'd have been a little better off.
Something in your range.
Yeah.
Something in my range.
Yeah. Understand.
Anyway, sorry. You can edit that out.
No,
feel free.
There's no way.
You have a question?
Well, you kind of touched on it with your last question, but how has embroidery changed? Where do you see it going?
Yeah.
Let me tack on to Sarah's question. As an operator, you've been on both sides of it. You've sold these things and now you run them. And you see things that you would like to see from an operator standpoint, probably the Barudan or anybody could do better, because we can always improve, all of us. We never want to think, we've got the perfect thing out there, because when you do, that's when you ask for trouble. And I'm just talking about embroidery machines in general. But what would you like to see that would increase productivity, maybe operator what's the word I'm looking for?
Don't know.
You know, I love it when you look at me and then look off and say you don't know. Help me. I need your help.
Man, I've been trying to help you for a while. There's a home down the road with an empty bed.
Terrible.
No, to make it easier, ease of operation, easier for the operator.
Yeah.
You stumbled straight. That sentence, you fell through it.
I know. My brain.
I think I know what you're asking.
Then my mouth does.
I think I got it.
I'm gonna tack onto this question that he asked. What would you like to see?
I think I got it.
You got it. Go for it.
So, man, I think some of it's already there. We haven't implemented it just because of our older equipment yet, but it's something that we're talking about how to do.
Networking.
Yeah. I mean, you're getting ready to, and we went from floppy disk. We went to paper tapes. We went to floppy disk. We went to CF cards, USBs. I mean, the next thing obviously is the wireless, and I'm not a big fan of wireless. That's not my thing. I just, I'm sure the technology will come that way too, I'm sure. But, for me, I think the networking is the next big thing, that's been around, obviously. It's already the big thing, but you guys, I know, have already come out with something that's now affordable, if I heard correctly.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's big. I really don't know. I mean, heck, the machines can't go any faster. Thread just, I don't,
same thing. You and I think so.
Unless you're running steel wire. Yeah. Unless you're running steel wire thread. I mean, there's the thread's just,
it's the limitation to the thread. You can't make
it is,
so any faster.
Probably. Yeah. Bobbins have come. I mean, unfortunately, bobbins took a really bad turn, in my opinion, the last couple years, but they've kind of come. There's
bobbins every day of my life.
They really, unfortunately, I mean, we won't get into all that because, I mean, but I think the number one thing I used to hear is, hey, do you know of anything that's like a continuous bobbin? I'm like, it's just not possible. Just look. I mean, how is that even possible? I mean, if there was some way to magically create a bobbin that just doesn't run out, it just magically reappears.
It would have to
like, I wish kind of like my weed eater, I'm like, come on, man, you're out again. I got to fill it up. But it's, man, I tell you, I think our technology has really come, our hooping boards. I mean, the podcast you had a couple weeks ago was great. Even though, I mean, it wasn't that great. Sarah wasn't able to be there. She didn't,
that cut deep. That cut really deep.
Yeah. I'm sorry, man. I mean, but on the,
she had the cooties, so she couldn't be.
I understand.
She didn't want to be here, but the cooties got a hold.
Oh, okay. I thought she just didn't want to. Okay, I figured she just didn't want to deal with clamps, But yeah, I mean, the clamping system with the technology of magnets, and I mean, that kind of stuff has really come so far that's enabled us to hoop stuff and be able to sew things that we haven't been able to really mess with.
A magnet is that?
Well, I should say the power.
They've been around since the beginning of time, haven't they?
Yeah. Well, okay. The use of magnets the use of magnets. Let me rephrase that.
I just saw someone who just discovered a magnet.
They got this cool thing, man. You just stick it together and you got to pull it apart. It's called a magnet. Oh, man. But again, I mean, just things like that. The big thing I hear people, I've seen it on forums. I've seen them at trade shows in the last 5 years, is that color wheel technology. I don't know if that's ever going to go anywhere. Yeah. I mean, I've got a hat up here that's a cool looking hat that's been color wheeled.
It's a lot of money.
I mean, it's pretty neat. It's a ton of money. And I don't know if that'll ever, it's just kind of, like with the printing industry, when, some other stuff came out, like, oh, this is going to change. I just don't ever see that going away. The root of the, a needle still has to go through a garment and complete a loop to make embroidery. You can only do that so many ways. So, I don't see much more except for design transferring. And, I don't know if we'll ever see a true auto digitizing. I mean, they've come a long way, but I don't know if we'll ever see something like that get any better.
James Timmons said that artificial intelligence would someday do digitizing.
That kind of freaks me out.
Hey, that's what he said.
That scares me. Yeah, but I'm also one that can't take my hands off the steering wheel, and then my car will drive itself. Yeah, I said, a car can drive it. I ain't trusting that. My luck, it'd run right into the wall.
Well, I heard, and don't you can take it for what it's worth. But I did hear,
struggling.
No, I heard that they were teaching robots to fry chicken. I don't know how true that is. But I don't know if I can eat fried chicken made by a robot. Chicken.
It's got to have that extra tender love and care that a human touch can provide.
Yeah,
exactly.
You got to have somebody with some care, flipping it over and just looking at it and talking to it, and so
that's very strange. That's very strange. I'll talk to my chicken when it's alive, but I don't talk to it when it's dead.
So, but I mean, technology. I mean, I think we're pretty. I mean, we're farther than I thought we'd ever be at this point.
So you have D series machines, right?
I have some D's. Yeah, I've got D's as in dog, V as in Victor's, and K as in cat.
Can't you tell? So, I would like to know if you ever get a chance to do this.
I got you.
If you put
what?
He said K as in cat. You just glanced right over it.
How do you spell cat?
You got it.
Okay. If you had ever put the same design on a D series, just a small design, and put it on a K, and start them at the same time, and see how much faster they run, I'll bet you it's amazing how much faster it would go.
It is amazing. We do it all the time because 2 of our 8s are Ds and 2 of our 8s are Ks.
Yeah.
So the Ks will just fly right through it. I mean, obviously we run
all that stuff's quicker.
Everything. I mean, obviously the ramp up speed, the longer stitches.
Yeah.
It absolutely. I mean, we see at least a 25 to 35% increase again because we don't run the machines over 850,
right.
And that's for all the series. And absolutely, the Ks will outrun it.
I had a big one of our large cap companies that has a ton of Barudans, and they've got D's. They have N's, D's, V's, X's. He told me that the K's, and he this if you knew this guy, he does all these time studies. I mean, he's crazy about numbers and all this. He said that the K's were 22% more efficient than a V.
I could see that.
That's a V, not a D, a V.
Yeah.
The D's were slow. I mean, they took their time when they trimmed.
Yeah.
They took their time when they changed colors.
Well, but the V's, did the V's have servo? The V's were still pulse motors, right?
The color change in the trimming, though.
Okay.
The high-speed color change in the
I mean, I think so. Yeah, I've got one V. I could see that. I mean, one of my 6s is a V. Yeah, I mean, I could probably see that. But, man, I tell you, though, I mean, I know we're on the Barudan podcast, and I sold Barudan for years and everything else, but I'm telling you, even my 1925, my 2000, is it a 2004? 2004D. I'm telling you, man, I would put that thing up. It'll run all day long. And it may break a handful of thread. Granted, we put it into the best case scenario. We have good digitizing. Our tensions are good. I've got good operators, but man, they run good. Gosh. But it's, but as far as efficiency, absolutely. Those K's are amazing. They really are.
Yeah.
And K's my favorite letter, Kentucky Fried Chicken. I haven't ate a Kentucky Fried Chicken in like 20 years. So.
I can't remember the last time I ate Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Oh, it's still good. I promise you.
Is it?
That chicken sandwich they make looks good.
Is there something else I can help with?
Come on.
Stupid watch is talking to me.
Some people
you know
have
what,
a
man?
smartwatch.
Dude, let me tell you something. My Siri watch or Apple Watch, whatever, Peach Watch, let me tell you something. It will not work if I go, hey, Siri, and ask her a question. She won't do jack. But when I'm having a conversation, all of a sudden she'll start saying, "Yes, can I help you?" Or the answer to that question. I'm like, I didn't ask you nothing.
Well, it was just trying to answer a question that you had asked.
Oh,
About KFC.
is Kentucky?
It got into it wanted to.
It's going to tell you the 11 herbs and spices.
Yeah. Hey, Sarah didn't know what a Wawa was when we lost you there a while ago. She says, "What's a Wawa?"
Had to ask.
Hey, but I tell you though, man, Wawa's been trampled. We've got Buc-ee's down here now.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You
Yeah.
do have Buc-ee's.
Oh,
The nuggets,
son.
the Buc-ee's nuggets.
Yeah. I've had the beaver nuggets.
I like their
But they're
beef
not as
jerky
good as
selection.
their beef jerky's good, but they got
Absolutely.
these things called kolaches or I don't know how to say. Oh my God, man! They're
What is
like
kolaches?
ham and
Kolaches?
cheese wrapped in a yeast roll. It's like a
Kolaches.
Thanksgiving yeast roll, just holding with two hands, with a light coming out of them, like with ham and cheese stuffed out, like going ah. So,
I know what you're talking about. I don't know how to say it either.
oh man, they're good, and they got fudge. They got everything
They got
there.
gasoline.
You can get T-shirts. You could Christmas shop, eat lunch and dinner there, all in one day, and fill up your truck before you leave.
And take a bath.
That's
You
an
take a
awesome
bath, you
place.
Take a shower.
Can you? I didn't know
Yeah.
they had showers.
They do.
It's
Oh,
it's
I didn't
fun
know
stuff,
that.
too.
Well, by God,
You could live there.
I didn't know
You
that.
could live there.
Yeah. It's the one place you can actually get diesel where a car filling up gasoline isn't sitting. So
Oh yeah, I got you.
I digress.
Okay.
Yeah, if you own
I
a
got you.
diesel, you know what I'm talking
I
about.
know what you're talking about.
So Sheets hasn't made its way down to Florida yet, has it?
Mm-mm.
No, you're still the only one I know that has a sheets.
No.
Virginia does.
They're out of Pennsylvania.
Georgia.
Are they? Yeah, I never.
You go to Sheets. You don't like Sheets, do you?
I go to the Sheets down here all the time. That's like the only place I get.
They
my
used to have 2 hot dogs for $1.
Oh wow.
Now,
That's pretty good.
are they really hot dogs? I don't know.
I was going to ask that.
Hot dog's just a processed meat anyway.
Yeah.
It's not real.
It's made of something.
So,
Yeah.
we got anything else to ask him about?
I don't think so.
So, last question:
Yeah.
Who makes the best?
Brace yourself.
Who
Oh,
makes
God.
the best chicken finger? Who you think makes the best?
Honestly.
Yeah, you were going to say somebody you were plugging in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're one of my customers. So, but dude, let me tell you something. They're on their way to the Carolinas.
Do you like
they're-
Huey Magoo's?
that is it right there.
I knew
Do you
it,
have
I
one?
knew it.
You
Absolutely.
think
Every time I'm down in Orlando, that's where I go.
So what's so good about it?
It's like
Dude.
it's a better Zaxby's. It's a better.
Oh,
It's a better. What's Cane's?
Dude.
It's better than all
it's
that.
by far.
I love Canes.
Oh, they're a lot better.
I'm on the Cane train. I like.
Yeah,
I like
nah, man. This is good chicken.
Yeah.
This is good chicken.
I like
I'm
KFC.
with you, buddy.
Canes.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
all over Indiana. I'm surprised. Well, you don't eat
What's-
chicken, but
yeah. Is it a gas station? Are
No,
we talking gas
it's a
station
chicken
food
place.
it's a chicken place.
exclusively?
All they make is chicken. That's it. Canes is chicken and French fries.
Yeah. Yeah, Huey Magoo's is good. I do love it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. My mom calls it. Oh, we're gonna go to Huey Magooey's. I was like, no, Mom, it's Huey Magoo's. I like Huey Magooey's. That's all right, mother.
I can never remember the name of it. Like whenever
Yeah.
your phone lost connection, I was sitting here thinking that's what I said, wasn't it?
You said there was one
Yep.
on international.
Huey.
It's not on.
No.
It's,
Yeah,
it's
there's
not too
one in
far
Sand.
from
They're
there.
all over.
On Sand Lake.
Yeah, they're all over.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first ones they started in UCF.
Okay.
2 gentlemen started it. Yeah, and but yeah, it's you're gonna see it start popping up across all across Florida, or all across the state.
Southeast.
So-
and-
So you think
Yeah,
they're coming to North
Southeast and-
Carolina, huh?
Oh, they're already playing there. Absolutely. Yeah, I know their
They
schedule.
They
It's
won't come to Archdale. Nobody comes here.
you never know.
We
You
have
never know.
Zaxby's.
Yeah.
I'm not a
Zaxby's.
I'm not a Zaxby's fan.
Yeah. So I do want to tell a story. This is my favorite Stony story,
Okay.
and I think it'll be good to and I think it'll be good.
It
So
was G-rated, right?
it is.
One of
It
the
is.
few.
This one
Okay.
is
All right.
one of the few. Because we've had many, and and I will say, not to blow smoke, but I'll tell you, Stony was probably one of the best people I ever worked for.
Go ahead, blow that
and
smoke, boy. Blow that smoke.
I'm sending the smoke signals your way. So we were doing a trade show, and I forget which one. It was Georgia or down here, and man, when again, if you've never worked a trade show, you don't realize this, but I mean, as soon as they say, thanks for coming to the 2012 ISS show, buddy, they're cutting the lights off and they're ripping carpet up. I mean, they're getting you out of here. Well, we were taking our booth down, and we had
I know this story.
we had this massive sign on top of the booth that said Barudan in all four corners. It was me, Bob, and Frank Barbieri. And so we had to lift this thing off there. Well, you know, you don't have a ton of room everywhere once they start ripping the carpet up. So there was this young lady that was starting to kind of sweep up and so forth. And me and Stoney Frank runs off to the side to help us. And Bob and I are holding up this sign over our heads. And the lady just kind of looks at Bob and he goes, hey, let me ask you something. Are you enjoying the show? She goes, I think the show's over. He goes, no, I'm talking about the gun show, baby. She just looked at us and snarled and goes, okay, and just walked away.
For so long, and at that time I had some pretty big guns. Yeah, it kind of shrunk, but
I've known your whole life, never seen it.
Well,
oh my gosh!
Yeah,
I'm telling you, I about dropped the sign on my face.
We used to have fun at shows. Yeah.
Man,
we won't get into Furman pushing those bolts back into the.
Oh my gosh!
We're not getting into that. So
no, but they're just so many things that are fun memories. I mean, that heck, I grew up, man. I was the kid on the block when I started there. I was 20. I mean, heck, I was 20-something years old. I was the young kid. Everybody was in their 40s, and I was the little kid on the block, and it was a good time, man. I learned a lot and expanded my palate to bacon, mac and cheese, and chocolate milk. You still got to have whole milk, buddy. Still got to have whole milk chocolate milk.
Well, when you used to go to the shows and we used to go to dinner, we always would have to go somewhere where you could get your kids' meal or whatever it was that your fingers and all that. So when you left, I'm like, well, Elrod's gone. Now we can go anywhere we want to go. Now we have Sarah, who
doesn't eat meat.
Vegan?
I'm a vegetarian.
Vegetarian. I get those mixed up. I'm sorry. Now Sarah's a vegetarian, so we're like, we can't go to chicken finger places because. And I'm kidding. We always accommodate.
I think it's probably easier to accommodate Sarah than it is to find a place with chocolate milk. And mac.
We could never eat sushi. He's like, ugh, I ain't eating that stuff.
Hey, I will tell you, the one time they got me to go to Rain Gensu or whatever it's called, and Ted Yamaui and Ken and the other guys were all there, and Bob and whoever, they would always try to help me, but they're like, here, Elrod, order this. This comes cooked. Well, they're begging me to try this sushi. Well, what do? Is I stick it in the frying pan and fry it. The shabu shabu or something like that. It's like a little pan that you. I stuck it in there and fried it, and Ken just looked at me and shook his head.
Oh yeah,
I was like, sorry.
He's like, I got those. Disrespected the Japanese culture.
Yeah, when you did that, he asked me to fire you.
He's like, Bob, you must fire him. You're fired.
It's like desecrating the Japanese flag when you do that to sushi.
Yeah, that's
how dare you? Only fish I eat is fried.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. On one of my trips to Japan, I ate something that was still moving.
No,
you got to accommodate the culture.
Yeah, I've been to Japan, but I didn't eat. No. When my brother got married over there, So, yeah. No. I ate at McDonald's every day.
That's not a true hamburger over there either.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. So, but anyways, so.
All right, Rob.
Yep.
Well, buddy, it has been
a
joy talking to you. I miss you, buddy.
Same here, guys. I miss you too, man.
Hearing your beautiful voice.
Well, next time there's not a Tampa show anymore, is there?
No.
Or not Tampa, Orlando.
No, in Florida.
Yeah.
This year.
Well,
I doubt they have one there next year. They probably won't.
It'll happen. It'll happen again.
I don't know what happened to that Florida market. You would think it would be really good. but
I don't know. It just even the ASI show this year just wasn't as, again, it's kind of an odd coming back, but nothing like it used to be. So I think we all just want to get out of Florida. Everybody wants to come to Florida, but we all want to get out. We want to go somewhere else.
Well, if you think about it, the last 2 shows we did down there, we had to run from a hurricane, and then the next one got canceled because of a hurricane.
Yeah. Hey, I tell you real quick, the last one we were doing, absolutely. I don't think Sarah, it was just me and you. And Earl was there because Earl had to catch a ride with somebody to get home. But they were
with me and Kim. Remember, Kim was with us, my wife.
That's right, yeah. And they were literally flying Black Hawk helicopters in, like, literally over our heads, landing to roll them into the
I forgot about that.
The hall next to us. Yeah, because they were like, hey, they're going to get blown around and we're going to need them. So, and we had just finished setting up all those equipment. Literally just finished setting up the equipment, and we had to tear it all down.
It took us 14 or 15 hours to get from
that was awful. Well, at least Kim was there to keep us happy and keep you happy.
Yeah.
So if Bob's happy, everybody was happy.
There you go.
That's the name of the game. All right, buddy. Well, we'll let you go, man.
All right. Well, listen, thank you guys. I enjoyed it. Absolutely.
Thank
you.
We'll do this again sometime.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
We should just have story
All
hour.
right.
One just
buddy, we could do it.
Yeah.
We could make it we could have some, but I'll definitely need to be on FaceTime or something or in person, because the motions have to go with a lot of those stories.
Yeah.
So that does make it more entertaining.
For that. Yeah.
It's kind of like you can say in a van down by the river, but unless you're in front of it doing in the hand motion, it just doesn't come across the same.
And then crashing into a table.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Okie dokie. So,
all right,
folks.
Have
Thanks.
a good rest of your day.
Y'all have a great day.
Good luck to you, man.
All right, guys. God bless. Take care. Bye-bye.
All righty. That was
Mr.
great.
Elrod.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got the stories.
Yeah.
But we probably couldn't share them on here.
No, there's a lot. No, they can't.
You wouldn't want.
I would not. No, I would not want them shared. Yeah.
All righty. Well, we'll duck out of here. Let's go over trade show schedule right quick. Atlantic City, March 24th through the 26th, booth number 319. GPX Charlotte, September 16th through the 17th. And then Fort Worth, September 30th, October 2nd. I did it.
2 months. That show goes for a month, September and October.
That's a whole month long. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, the Atlantic City show's coming up soon. And we do have codes somewhere in the ether.
Yeah. Let us know if you want one.
Get you a free plane ticket, what does it include? Free meals, free...
It's all inclusive.
Okay. It's all inclusive trade show? Yeah. Like we do have free passes to the show. Yeah. You got to get there by your own means. Stop by Wawa.
Come to Atlantic City and see us. Come look at the machines. We may do a podcast up there.
Say hi to Brandon.
We will.
Yeah.
Say hi to me?
Yeah, Brandon will be there if you want to meet
Don't talk
Brandon.
to me.
Talk to him.
He'll be there.
He really likes that.
I do love meeting people. It's just the people that want to see me are in other states that I'm not allowed to because of my 50 Bs that I have out in multiple locations.
Your what?
50 Bs. That's a restraining order.
Okay.
Y'all didn't know that? No. Well, you got to have one to know it. So that's why.
Okay. Does that involve an ankle bracelet too?
No.
Oh, okay.
Just not being close to other people.
I got you.
Yeah, he can leave the state.
I can leave the state. I do often. All right. Well, thanks for checking us out.
Yeah. Thanks.
Please leave a comment below.
Thanks for listening, watching, all that good stuff.
Yep. We got new episodes.
Was that shows and episodes?
New episodes every other Wednesday.
If you have any opinions on chicken fingers, let us know.
Yeah.
We're all always on the lookout for good chicken fingers.
Are we? Yeah. We sure are.
I rarely eat them, but
yeah, they're great. Whatever you like. Yeah. Chocolate milk recommendations, leave those also.
Yeah. Mac and cheese.
You like chocolate milk? You do.
You like mac and cheese. I know you like mac and cheese. I've seen you order it.
For sure. Yeah. I don't drink cow's milk anymore, though.
You don't?
But anyway.
You don't?
No.
I don't either because I can't.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I drink that lactose-free stuff.
That's like flavored water.
Yeah, it's an acquired taste.
I'm not acquiring.
Well, it's either that or be sick.
He said, Robert said he hoped it was usable. It's usable.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty, we'll see you guys on the next episode. Please let us know what you'd like to see. Like, subscribe, comment, and share it, please. We love you guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.